If you're considering a move to the DC metro area, or you're just curious about some of the top places to live in this beautiful region, you're in the right spot. Today, we're going to talk about the top neighborhoods in the DC metro area. We're going to talk about amenities. We're going to talk about schools. We're going to talk about location, traffic, all the things to see if it's a place for you and your family to consider. So we're going to get at that right now. We're going to pull up the Google map, and I'm going to walk you through each suburb separately, talk through some of the highlights. I won't get into a great level of detail because I'm covering 5 spots. So if you want more information on these areas, just drop a comment or give me a call. Days, nights, weekends, text, email, phone. I'm happy to kind of do a deeper dive into some of these areas that I cover. And you can also look on our channel because I have covered more neighborhoods in more detail in some of those videos. So check those out. Let's get to it. The first place I'm going to talk about is Arlington. And what we're going to do is we're going to start closer to DC proper, Washington, DC proper, and kind of move west and north. So you'll get a sense of kind of close in places and what those look like, and then farther out places and what those look like. Just one thing to note, traffic is always going to be a challenge here, and construction is always going to be a challenge here. But the farther away you get from DC, the newer the homes and the more you will get for your money. So keep that in the back of your head. I'll try to remind you of those things as we go through each area. So let's get at it right now. And so we're going to start with Arlington. Arlington is the closest that we're going to cover right now to Washington, DC. So you can see Arlington's right here. I've got the traffic map up on here, so you can just get a sense of live traffic status as we go. Right now, it says it's fast. And if I put in the directions to Washington, D.C., you're going to see that it's about, I don't know, maybe it's up to 30 minutes right now. We'll see. Nope, it's still at 20 minutes. So it's lunchtime right now. So you're going to have an easier commute than if it were prime commuting times. And depending on the route that you take, you can either get there in 15 minutes or get there in 18 minutes. So you see this is just Washington, D.C. proper, the central area. So you can take a couple different routes. The major commuting routes are the GW Memorial Parkway, which is a beautiful, it's got great scenery. If you take that over to the DC area, it's really pretty, but it can get clogged up. You can see here, I think that's construction. You can take 395, which can tend to get congested as well. You can take Arlington Boulevard over to, what is that? The East Street Northwest up to DC proper. So depending on where you're going in DC, you've got lots of routes to take. The Pentagon is right here in Arlington. The Reagan National Airport is right here. So you've got a great airport, and a lot of people work in the Pentagon. So that's something to note as well. Let me just take a different view here, and we will go to layers. So you can see that there is green space here, and you can see that the housing is pretty concentrated, and you're going to see a lot of that high concentration the closer you get into the Washington, D.C. area. So that is something that, you just need to consider. Houses are going to be closer together. Lots are going to be smaller. However, you do have options for single family as well as condos and townhomes. Let's just see. TJ is a middle school that is a very popular, almost like it's a STEM school, but a lot of people love to get their kids into this middle school. And as you can see, it's got a great campus. We've got the Foreign Service Institute here. And what you'll find with Arlington, I'm going to zoom back out, is that it is a draw for young professionals for a couple reasons. One, it's close to DC. 2, there's a lot of walkable areas here. And then 3, you can find decent rent. I'm going to say decent in air quotes. Most of the young professionals actually share housing with people to minimize the cost, because what you're going to find here is that it's fairly pricey. And again, it's primarily location, but you're going to find here a 2 to 3 bedroom unit is going for around $1,700 a month up to $7,200 a month. And those $7,200, the high rent district is going to be over here because of the closeness to the Potomac River and the Thomas Jefferson Island, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then single families here range from anywhere from, you can probably find a place from $400,000 to perhaps, you know, up in the millions. Again, you're going to find probably more common the high rises and the townhomes and condos than potentially single families, but I do see some here. So we can take a look at those in a minute. The popular places for the young up and coming people to live are Clarendon, which is over in this area here, because it does have walkability. It does have little town centers. You can see you've got a metro station right here at the courthouse metro stop, but you also have a couple high-end, you know, places to live as well as walkable places here. So you can see there's a little community here that you can walk to and get some eats and do some grocery shopping. The other popular place is Roslyn. It's another place where the youngsters live. The young professional folks live here. Again, proximity wise to walkability shops over here and that type of thing. And then the last place that's popular is Ballston, right in front of my face. So Ballston is right over here. So it's a little bit farther out, relatively speaking, to the Washington, D.C. area. I would say there are some places that you may not want to think about living. So definitely keep that in mind when you're looking. There's, you know, higher crime areas and lower crime areas. So again, check your websites online, both with school ratings as well as crime ratings. There are highly rated schools here. I'm not going to steer you, but just if you look online, you'll get a sense of how the how the crime is rated and how the schools are rated. So definitely check those out. I did have a client who actually rented in a high rise over here, and the views were fantastic because you could see not only the Potomac River, but you could see the Theodore Roosevelt Memorial Island, which is a great little island that you can just go walk trails. So you can see, let me see if we can get in there and see what it looks like. I'm not sure if it'll let me, Google Maps will let me see it, but yeah, so here's a little park area. So a lot of people go here to hike the trails and picnic and all that good stuff. So there's Teddy right there. Check out Teddy. So that is a nice place to go and walk around. You can see there's some trail maps there. You can get a sense of the views from here. So this is going to be a higher priced place to live. And let's just see if we can check out Roslyn Heights. Let's just check out a little. That's odd. So it took me into an actual unit. So this must be the entryway to a community. So here is some condos now leasing, newly renovated. Oh, these are apartment townhomes. They look like condos. So you can get a sense there's always construction, not a shocker there. So there's always construction here in the DC metro area, whether it is within a little city or on a highway, you're always going to find that. So if you are looking for a place that's close to DC because you have a commute, or you want to go where all the hip kids are, definitely look into Arlington as an option. Let's move on to Alexandria. So Alexandria looks like you've got a live traffic. You've got a good sense of traffic here going on. I think this is relatively the same in terms of time of commute to DC. I think it's about 20 minutes. Yeah, 30 minutes now. So you're going to take, looks like the best route to take according to Google Maps is the GW Parkway, which again, you can see where it goes on the edge of the Potomac River. It is a beautiful drive. So it takes you up through Arlington and then over to DC. Again, depending on the traffic, you probably on major commuting times with Arlington as well as Alexandria, you should plan on 45 minutes to an hour to get to DC if you have to commute there. So the cool thing about Alexandria is you have a lot of parks that abut the Potomac River. So it's a very nice walkable area, and it's a very historic area. So you can, see a lot of brownstones. You can go to the Old Town area, which is right here. There's a waterfront view. It's really, really pretty. Let me see if I can take you there so you can take a look at what it looks like. You never know where you're going to land with these things, but you can get a sense of, here's the waterfront. And there's some shops and restaurants here, which is kind of nice. And you can walk the streets and get a sense of, see how charming it is. It's just got a lot of history, and it's very quaint and very approachable. You feel like you're in a really small little city. You can join the yacht club, go crewing maybe if you wanted to, but you can get a sense of a lot of the different building types here. And from a housing perspective, a 2 to 3 bedroom property is going to cost you about $1,500 to $6,000 a month. The closer you are to the waterfront, you're going to have pricier homes. Duke Street is a very beautiful little street to check out. And then your home prices for single family or for 4 to 5 bedroom properties are going to start in the 480s and go up to the 2.5 millions, again, depending on, where you are looking. They have a lot of cute little cafes. Charming that is. I mean, I just love Alexandria. I have a couple of clients that live in this area, and they absolutely love it. One bought new construction and one bought a resale home, and they can walk wherever they want to go from where they live, or have a short drive or a short bike. But you can get a sense of what Old Town looks like here. It's just really cute. And again, this is very historic, but they do have some, like modern amenities, obviously. So if you're looking for that old charm of a historic city, and you want your closeness to Washington, D.C. and opportunity to just go to the waterfront and hang out, Alexandria is definitely something that you should check out. They do have lots of festivals. I usually go to the Old Town Art Festival, which is right on the waterfront, one of the parks. But this year, I think I'm going to try the Holiday Boat Parade of Lights, which is obviously on the water, but it's a nice thing to do on the holidays. So here's another view of the waterfront, which is really pretty. Now we're going to move on to Fairfax. Fairfax is a little bit larger and a little bit farther away from DC. So let's see, if we were at probably about 30 to 45 minutes into DC from Fairfax, depending on where you start from. But you can see the main routes here are Route 50, takes you over to the Arlington Boulevard, and then back over to the DC area. You can go Route 29. You can see all these little construction signs. So obviously you're going to have to just consult your Waze lady in the morning to find the best route. You can go 66, which just note that 66 during the commuting times, there is a toll. So be prepared to pay for a toll. And then 495, I would not advise because it is a nightmare. The outer loop is always crowded, and you can see, look at that. That's just stopped traffic, nightmarish. So I would say steer clear of 495 to get to DC if you can. If not, you got to do what you got to do, but definitely try to avoid that at all costs if you can. So here's Arlington, here's Alexandria, here is Fairfax. And just in terms of Fairfax, it's also known for its excellent schools, according to the ratings online. I'm, again, not going to steer you. And their crime is a little bit lower. I'm sure there's higher crime areas, but again, consult the crime sites online just to get a sense of crime. It offers a variety of housing options. So you can have condos, single family. There's a lot to choose from here. And it's ideal for families looking for that top-notch education. According to the ratings again, they have numerous parks, recreational facilities, a vibrant downtown area with shops and restaurants. Some notable areas in Fairfax are, one of my favorites is the Mosaic District. And the reason I love this is it's a nice little walkable area with houses all around it. It's on the upper edge of Fairfax, but it has lots of shops and restaurants. It has your typical, brands like Lululemon and Mott and Bow, I believe. There's my favorite, the Bar Taco. There's a brewery there and lots of different things. Plus, there's also a fitness center, which you can see. There's lots of different shopping centers and places to live. Really decent shops here. There's Lululemon. There's your Target, Mom and Pop. That's new. That was something else when I used to work down here. Film center. So you've got, you can see your Blockbuster film. So you can see here's housing back here. So you're very close if you want a place where you can bike or walk or drive. It's just a cute little district I really, really like. I would highly recommend it if you're looking for a place to just be able to walk things and have your housing nearby. Kings Park West is another popular place to live, as is Fairfax Station. So those will have some single families as well, and it's worth checking out. One of the things to note about Fairfax is that you will find neighborhoods that have older homes. You can see this is typical of the Fairfax neighborhood. You're going to find older homes, decent size though. And, sometimes you will find across the street from an older home, a tear down that has a McMansion on it. And I'm trying to see if I can find you one of those. This one looks like it's been updated a little bit, but not to the degree that I'm talking about. These all look older. I don't think we're going to find a tear down here, but what you're going to find in some of these areas is a cute little house, maybe a rancher, and then across the street, you'll find something that's been completely built from the ground up, which on the good side, it raises the prices. On the bad side, it just provides a really disparate look to the neighborhood. But I think we're going to see more and more of that coming in the Fairfax area. Prices for rent is for a 2 to 3 bedroom, $2,200 to $4,400 a month. And then the 4 to 5 bedroom homes, similar to this one, would start in the 587s and probably end up in the 2 million range. This probably would be in the $1 million to million 1.15 range would be my guess. This looks like a newer home. So this is probably a newer community, relatively speaking. You aren't going to find as much new construction in the Fairfax area as you would in maybe Loudoun County, which is what I'm going to cover in a little bit. But you still can find some newer homes than you necessarily would be able to find in Arlington or Alexandria. Let's move on to Reston. And again, just let me remind you, I'm only covering very high level these areas. And if you want more information, please reach out or drop a comment and I can delve into more detail based on what's important to you. So if I know what you want or I know what you're looking for, I can generally pinpoint exact areas where you may want to consider, and I can talk to you about them in more detail. So here's Arlington, here's Alexandria, here's DC, and Fairfax is on the way to, here's Fairfax. Okay, so we're going a little bit north and a little bit west. And Reston is an interesting community because it is known for its planned community. It's one of the first planned communities in this area. And you can just see by looking at the satellite how green it is. Green space everywhere. They pride themselves on maintaining the trees and the flora and the fauna. And they're really almost to the point where it's annoying because the HOAs are very particular. So if you're going to move to Reston, the thing that you want to make sure that you understand is what your limitations are from a homeowners association perspective. I'm just going to try to get into an area because they have restrictions on what you can do in terms of even taking trees down. And they're very particular on color schemes and things like that. So here you can see very dense trees and things that make it unique in that regard. Most of the homes are older, which means they may need some updating. I'm trying to get to a street view if I can. So just keep that in mind. And most of the styles here are older as well. They're modern-ish, I guess I would say. So this is a typical community of more moderately priced homes, but you can see all the big trees around, which is great. And they're very particular about maintaining these trees. And what you get into in a situation like this, as you can see here, is you got these big trees. If a storm comes in, it could fall right on that house, but you're not allowed to take them down because the HOA won't let you. So it's really important to keep your trees well manicured. I would say the housing prices for these types of homes, you're probably in the $600,000 to $700,000 range to start with these homes, even though they're not very big. It's just such a highly desired area to live that, the prices here will actually reflect what the cost is to live here. So there's a golf course here. There's the town center. And I did a video on the town center. So if you want a deeper dive into another walkable community, town center is something you definitely want to check out. There's Amazon. So I'll find town center in just a second, but I do want to talk about, there's a lot of tech companies in the area, and Amazon is very prevalent throughout the Northern Virginia area. And so from a job perspective, there's a lot of opportunities for jobs here. A lot of people move to this area because of that. Here is the town center. And this has grown so much since I moved here. I've lived here since 1998. And we first moved here, we had corporate housing in Reston. So I was able to come over to the town center and walk around. But I got to tell you, it has grown so much since I moved here. It's unbelievable. Lots of parking. There's Jackson's. This is the town center. So you can see there's lots of shops. There's business office space. And these are all condos, all here around this area. There's some high rises. There's a hotel, which is what I used to look it up. These are apartment complexes. So there's a varying degree of housing options. And then right outside of the town center, there are more housing options, mostly townhomes that are larger. And those, go for a pricey penny, but in general, rent prices for a 2 to 3 bedroom in the Reston area go from $1,900 to $5,300 a month, again, depending on location and size and all that good stuff. And then home prices for a 4 to 5 bedroom will go from $500,000 to $2.9 million, depending on, again, where you're looking and all that good stuff. But this is definitely a fun place to go. They do have a pavilion, and they have ice skating in the wintertime. I think it's over here. This is the pavilion. You can see right here, they have ice skating in the winter months. They have summer concerts there in the obviously summer months. So it's a great place to take the family, check out some music, or just get the kids out in winter and have them go skating. It's super fun. Definitely something to check out. They also have a really good lobster roll place here that my husband swears by. So I'm just trying to get you back around so you can see the pavilion. This is Fountain Square. So there's a pretty fountain here. This is like people go to take Insta pictures and stuff like that. And then the pavilion is right here so you can get a better view. I did do a deep dive on Reston Town Center on another video in our channel, so you can check that out if you're interested. So if you're looking for a planned community with lots of lakes, some walkable areas, lots of mature trees, you're going to find older homes, but lots of home options, then definitely check out Reston. Now we're going to move on to Loudoun County. And I covered a county because it's one of the fastest growing areas in Northern Virginia. It has newer home options. And because I'm covering such a larger spans of location, you can have varying degrees of housing options. Farther west you go, you're going to get more for your money in Percival versus being in Ashburn or I guess would be Ashburn or Sterling. You have your choice of housing, but you you may end up paying a little bit more based on what you're looking for. So here is Loudoun County. Let me see if I can just show you. Okay, here was Reston, and then Fairfax is here. And then let me just zoom in a little bit more so you can see here's Arlington, and here is Alexandria. So, visually on the map, they don't look that far away, but I tell you, traffic-wise, it makes a big difference. If your goal is to be in this area for a job, you're going to want to be closer in. If you're willing to do this commute, then by all means, come out with me and live in Loudoun County, because it's a beautiful place to live. And I've been here again since 1998, so I can talk a lot about this area. Let's just show you how far away Washington, D.C. is during this time of day. So you're up to an hour. You've got a couple routes. You can take Route 7, which is a smaller highway, to the Beltway, which I don't recommend, 495, yeah. But you can also get on the toll road from Route 7 around here and then take that into DC. So we have a private toll road that hooks up with 267. It's called the Greenway, and it starts in Leesburg. So if you want to get on that Greenway here and then have it connect you with 267, the only thing about this Greenway is it's super pricey, $7 to $8 each way. And it's not that much of a Greenway. It's maybe, if I were to guess, maybe 10, 15 miles max before you're dumped onto the 267 here. So I only take the Greenway if I am in a hurry or I'm late. But usually I'll just suffer through Route 7. They've removed a lot of the traffic lights, so it's pretty much a straight shot, but you do get that commuter clogging in the morning and in the evening. So just make a note of that. So from a Loudoun County perspective, the areas that I just want to talk a little bit about, the most popular areas in Loudoun County are Ashburn, Leesburg, and Brambleton, which is considered part of Ashburn. So you can see, here's Ashburn. I did a deep dive on some of the top neighborhoods in Ashburn. And again, that's in my channel. Here's Brambleton. This is one of the newest planned communities. It's pretty cool. It's got a town center and tons and tons and tons of housing options you can see. I won't get into too much detail here, but I'm happy to do that if you're interested in more information on Brambleton. Again, I have a video on Brambleton, so you can watch that. This is the town center area. So you can see all the housing around the Brambleton area. And then if you go just over to Ashburn proper here, you have tons of housing options. This is also a planned community. Not to the degree that Brambleton is, because there isn't like a town center, but there are interconnecting trails, and all these lakes, there's 8 of them, connect the communities, and the houses are centered around those lakes. So you can see lots of different opportunities to be on water, non-motorized vehicles, of course, only. And again, there's lots of different housing options here. We can just run into to get a sense of, you're going to find newer looking homes here, but again, varying degrees of age here, like 1980s on up. Brambleton's going to be a newer community. Looks like people request to be blurred out. So typical colonial style homes, decent sized lots. And they pretty much look, aside from the newer ones, pretty much the same. There are some higher end communities that you can check out here. Again, because they range in pricing, you can, if you want a bigger house or you want more lot size, you can definitely get that here. You see the lots are a little bit bigger here in Wild Meadow, but definitely options here. The one thing I will tell you about Ashburn, I don't know why that turned back on, is Ashburn is considered the data center of America, or the 70% of the traffic comes through Ashburn via the data centers. So you have a lot of data centers here, and all of these things that you're looking at are data centers. And it's, in my opinion, can be a little bit of an eyesore. You can see they're concentrated, but data centers are starting to take over the Loudoun County area, which is a little bit of a challenge just aesthetically and also practically, because the power that it takes to run these data centers, as you would imagine, right, is a lot. And so we are looking at installing new, high electric, the big power lines through our area. And everybody's up in arms about what that means in terms of, if you have a power line going through your house in a beautiful, pristine Western Loudoun area where all you see is acres and acres of beautiful trees and hills and stuff like that, people are trying to fight it, but we definitely need a different, additional power source because of all the data centers that are going up. So that's just one thing to note. So that's Ashburn and Brambleton. And then the only other one I'm going to save the best for last, of course, because this is where I live, Leesburg, Virginia, baby. Come on now. It is a beautiful little city. It's very family oriented. I can talk about it all day long. It has a really nice downtown area that's walkable, that is on the historic register. Here's the, the main area. It runs Market Street and where's 15? Where's King Street? King Street. So here's King Street and here's Market Street. This is the center of the historic downtown area. And you have a bike trail actually that runs from Percival, which is farther west of Leesburg, all the way to Shirlington and Arlington. It's a 45-mile bike trail, and you can hop on it in Percival. You can hop on it in Leesburg. You can hop on it in Ashburn. You can hop on it in Ruston. So it runs through all those areas, which is really nice to, if you want to go for a walk or you want to go for a bike ride, you can definitely do that. You can see you have choices of lots of home options. These guys are a little closer together. And then you have condos, townhome options here. So you name it. We even have 55 plus options, both in Leesburg and in Ashburn and in Sterling. So there's lots of different home options available depending on your lifestyle. I hope this guide has given you a glimpse of what it's like to live in this beautiful Washington, D.C. metro area. And remember, I only covered Virginia. We still have Maryland and we still have D.C. as housing options. If you liked this video or you found it informative, please give it a thumbs up and share it with somebody else that you think may find it helpful as well. If you have specific questions or you would like to get more detail around what I covered, or maybe some other areas that I didn't cover in this video, please reach out. I'm always available days, nights, weekends, emails, text, or phone. We're here to help you find the perfect place to live in the Washington, D.C. metro area. And all we need from you is maybe your top 3 things that you're looking for, and we can pinpoint specific areas that you may want to consider. Don't forget to also subscribe to our channel. We do new videos every week on what it's like to live here, so you don't want to miss them. And until next time, happy house hunting.